Greetings to one and all. I am Akash Srinivasan and in this video I will be showcasing you my VS Code extension. So this is an open source project so you could also contribute to it. So when I click on Get Start, it shows me this menu over here. I can click on this button over here to create a beautiful code snippet image for my social media platforms. So let me select a theme over here and let's go with JavaScript. Let me select a background color, set up the padding to 5 rem, and let's skip the background image and just copy and paste some code snippet over here. And let me scroll down and click on create code snippet. So it will take some time, and as you can see it has generated a code snippet and it looks beautiful. I can just zoom in, zoom out and pan around. If everything's okay, you can just go down and click on download snippet over here, and this opens a new browser and gives you a shareable link. This is powered by Appwrite storage bucket. Yeah, you can see this, and you can save this image or even share this public URL to anyone. Now, if you have noticed that there is a very beautiful motivational code coming over here randomly every time when you open the extension. Later on, when we scroll down, we have get website info. Say that you're practicing front-end web development and you're trying to clone a particular website, and now you're curious about what font families they use, what tech stack are they using, and what are the assets, how to get them, etc. You can use this feature over here by just entering the URL of any website and clicking on submit. If you wait for a few seconds, so as you can see, it has provided all the information over here. So this website is using the following tech stacks listed over here. And when we scroll down, you could also see the font families over here and the images. When I click on any one of these images, it again opens my browser and gives me the image. I can right click on it and save it also. Now let's say that after you have taken enough inspiration, now you want to recreate that website. So you can just click on this button over here to create the development environment. Firstly, let us choose a domain. Let's say web development. Let's go with vanilla JavaScript for our front end and express.js for our back end. Let's go down and let me add a project name. Let's say demo over here, and let me create the development environment. It installs all the required packages over here, and now it has given me an alert. Let me go to the Explorer, and it has given me a professional folder structure over here. When I open any one file, it has injected a comment over here. In the future, we could also inject some code which, just creates a server or displays some kind of front end. And the code could also come from Appwrite. After that, if I open the package.json and format the code over here, you could also see that in the dependencies, it has installed CORS and NodeMon out of the box, though I asked it only to install Express. Due to this, it kind of reduces the time invested by developers into creating these development environments. Now, say that you have recreated that particular website and now you want to document your APIs. No worries. You could just click on this button over here, and you could just enter the particular API route code over here. For example, I'll just copy this code over here and paste it, and also copy this function as it is also being utilized in that route. And if I paste the code over here and click on get documentation and waiting after some time, it will give me the output. So as you can see, it has documented my whole API over here. It has written the request schema, the response schema, and an example in Node.js. Also, you could tell it to write examples in various languages also. Now, let's assume that you have multiple VS Code windows open and you're constantly switching into them to work on multiple code bases like I am doing right now. So in this case, it is becoming very difficult to identify the particular VS Code window which has opened a particular code base. So in this situation, you can use one of our feature, and if you can see at the bottom right section, you have a button called change workspace color. Just click on it and it changes the color to a random color. After that, it has become very easy for me to identify that particular VS Code window by just seeing that color. Now, for example, if I want to get rid of this color, I have two options. Either I can just delete this .vs code folder over here, or I can just say Control Shift P and reset colors of workspace. After I click it, it resets all the colors. Also, there is a caching. So after you close that particular VS Code workspace and again open it also, it remembers its color. The best part is that it has multiple colors, so you could pick your favorite one. Next up, we have the initial runner. When I open it, actually the reason behind creating this feature is that many developers intend to forget to like start the front end and back end servers like me. So they get some errors and they waste a little bit of time. So we have created a feature in which they can write all the commands over here that should be run to start a server, and they can click on save commands, and these commands will be run every time the particular workspace opens, making the developer more productive. So let me write the commands to start this server. So in our case, it's just, let me check my package.json. So it's just npm start. So let me go to my extension back again and click on initial runner over here, and let's say npm run start. And I can if there are more commands, I can just put a comma and write the other command over here, but in our case it's only one. Let me save the command. I got an alert, and let me reopen it. You could just click on this thing and you can get it. So as soon as I click on this logo of my extension, it runs the commands. See, executed initial commands from initial commands.json. See, it has started the server also. And all these initial commands are saved in this JSON. So either you can go to the UI over here and you can add new commands or delete the old commands, or you could just add the commands over here also. Next up on the line, we have integrated a whiteboard which is much similar to Excalibur. So it is showing me to register over here. Let me enter my name, later my Gmail over here, and finally a password. And let me click on sign up. And it has registered me successfully over here. So this is basically a whiteboard where you could visualize your UI mockups or your backend architecture, or even your to-dos over here. You can directly customize it to various colors, textures, the stroke, or even the style of it. And you could also insert images over here. You could also insert images over here, and you could write text also. And finally, if you want to share this whiteboard to anyone, you could just click on this button over here and click on save to, and you could just save the file and share it to anyone. Now, let's say that your UI developer has given some UI components coded in HTML and CSS. Now, you need to use them in your Next.js or React.js project. It has been very difficult to convert the syntax to Next.js, as it is very easy but time consuming. So we have built a feature by which you could just select the code, right click on it, and just convert it to React.js or Next.js. Let me click on Next.js. I'll just copy the entire code and go to my next.js file and paste it over here. And it works out of the box. This makes lives easier for web developers. Now, let's say that you're bored a little bit. So you could just click on this button over here and it displays a bunch of coding games by which you could play games and learn more. So there are three games currently on CSS, three for JavaScript, one for React, and one for Git branching. We could add more and more games with a filter over here using Appwrite backend also. So if I click on any one of these things like this, it opens the particular website in which the game contains, and I could just play it. Now, let's say that you're working on a front-end project and you need some dummy data. So you could just click on this data mocking button over here, enter a topic on which you want some dummy data. So let me say snacks and let me ask for 5 entries. I'll just enter the JSON structure. Let's say we have a name of that food. Let's add samosa and we can add an origin. We can just add Indian and we can just add a side dish and let's say chutney. And I could just submit the form, and if I wait for a few seconds, I have got all the entries over here, which with the random data which are relevant to my JSON data structure. Now I could just copy this and go to any website like JSON placeholder API, paste this JSON structure over there, and I can use that API. This will help front-end web developers more and more in working with large amounts of data. Now, let's say that you are developing a website UI in HTML, CSS, or React, or Next, etc. So, in case you have some icons in your website, so you have used an SVG like I'm doing right now, but it occupies so much space over here, and I just wanted to have it in one line. So, we have developed a feature for this also. Just select the SVG code over here, right click on it, and just say minify code, or you could just say Control plus M in your keyboard. So it has minified it into one line. And this makes it easier for developers to navigate around the code. And also, if they were to manually make it to one line, it would take a long time, like deleting all the spaces. Also, in another cases like this, sometimes if we ask some chat GPT to generate some random colors array or any prompt like that, GPT always gives it with some comments like this. So in case if I want this array into one line, I could just select the whole array, right click onto it and just say minify code from dev dash. It removes all the comments and makes it to one line. In other cases, like if I use the inbuilt format document by VS Code, it doesn't work. Now, let's say that you have built a Chrome extension or something similar to that, and you have some confidential code logic that you don't want your competitors or others to read it, copy it, or something like that. So, in that case, you could make certain parts of your code unreadable by just selecting it, right clicking, and you could just say obfuscate your code from dev dash. As soon as you click it, it adds some filler code and some string binary to make the code unreadable. And if you run this code, it gives the same output as before. But the only thing that it does is making your code unreadable and difficult to follow. Now, let's assume that you are using a certain piece of code multiple times, such as this fetch request over here. And you are just pasting this into your notepad, copying and pasting it multiple times. This makes it pretty much unproductive. So you could, instead of using any third-party extensions to follow their snippets, you could just select the code that you want, right-click on it, and just say create a snippet from dev dash. Just give it a name over here and just give it a description. Let's say fetch the API. And if I save it, it gives me snippet fetch created successfully over here. Now, whenever I write the key over there, like I gave it the key to fetch. And now if I click on enter, it writes the code out of the box. And not only it works for this certain file, but if you create any other file also, let's say other.js, and if I just say fetch and just click on enter, it automatically auto completes that particular code and gives you the particular intelligence. After that, I have integrated a file sharing system in this extension over here. So to use it, before that, it gives an onboarding tutorial for the user. So he does understand what button it does. So to use it, firstly, I need to enter the phone number over here and click on upload content and select the files I need to upload. After I select it, it will gzip them and provide me a shareable link over here. I can click on this button to copy it or directly right click and copy. After that, I can just open my browser and share it to anyone. And this type of UI would be visible to that person. So this is a preloader and the user can see all the contents present in this gzip file over here, and he needs to enter an OTP. Let me check my phone. After I enter the OTP, I just need to click on download and it downloads the gzip file. Also, in the future, we will be implementing this feature to scan the viruses before the user downloads it. Next up is social card. And the main problem statement behind this is that it is very tedious to share your info like your name, email, interests, resume link, and your social media handles. So we have built a product by which the user can just fill up these details and click on apply, and he or she will get a beautiful business card like this, and they can share this link to anyone and they can view it immediately and navigate to through their social medias or even through their resume. So let me show you quickly how to use it. Now, as you can see, there is a beautiful business card over here with beautiful hovering effects. Now, as soon as I click on copy link, it opens a link in which a business card is loaded. If you wait for a few seconds, the image is loading, and now you can share this link to anyone. But you can also show. Later on, we have Product Hunt, which is one of our previous projects which we have enhanced today. And if we click on this button over here, it's going to open our browser and load a website like this in front of you. Later, we could click on Get Started button over here with a glass animation. It shows the form, and the user can select the domain like front end development, back end, or full stack web development. Let's take front end development and let's enter my skills as react.js, let's say MongoDB, Appwrite, and let's choose Tailwind with Dev UI. I'll enter the project duration as 1 week and I will rate myself as 9.5. And if I click on submit, after a few seconds, it has given me a beautiful project which is to develop a React.js e-commerce website with MongoDB as my database and integrate Appwrite for user authentication and payment gateway integration. Also, it is telling me to use Tailwind for responsive UI and Dev UI library for the UI components. So by this, you could get what do you say, a industry level project, and this is given by Delegata. After that, I have all the necessary skills that I need to learn and the project deadline with the project name over here. Also, it generates random and good projects over here every time. And in the future, we are also building a little bit of a social media platform in this website only, where users can just post these challenges with their projects and other communities can review it. Finally, we have the upcoming products that our team is working in the near future and it will be ready. And after that, we have courses and libraries in which we will pick some of the best YouTube playlists and display them inside here. And here we could charge some affiliate from the YouTubers and instructors also. And over here we have share new features. If the user of this particular extensions find some of the features are missing, they can just write their name, email or phone number and the feature, and they could submit this form. And as soon as they submit, it will reach to one of our team members Gmail, and he could just discuss about that, and we will work onto that feature. And this whole thing is integrated via email.js. After that, we have finally dev dash tutorial over here, which will be linked to our YouTube channel, where we will show how to use each of the feature of this extension. If we go up, we have mini tools section over here, and when I click it, it gives me a bunch of useful productive tools for web developers. So basically, email templates is a tedious task to develop. So it gives me free email templates which are responsive and professional, and this is powered by befree.io. Later, I have Blue Willow, which is a free text to image generator, and Canva illustrations, which have the best icons, and so on and so forth. Also, at the right hand side, we have some popular AI tools for writing some of the Notion templates, some of the coding AI tools, which help us to kind of help us in UI UX development, ORM querying, etc. There are a bunch of tools, and all these productive tools are powered by Vondi. Thank you. Hope you like our extension. Now, let's say that you have built a beautiful product and now you want to build a website for it to advertise. No problem. Let's build it. So basically, we have built a code snippet library over here, which gets beautiful Tailwind components, which are customizable from Dev UI. So firstly, to add the CDN, let's say Tailwind, and it gives me an intelligence, and let me click on enter. It has added the CDN over here. Let me add a navbar. Let's go with anonymous navbar. Anonymous navbar is nothing but a navbar with sign in sign out. Let me click on go live button over here, and out of the box you get a navbar which is customizable, and after that, let me close this, and over here let's create a CTA or click through action. We got a beautiful CTA, and the best part is that it is completely responsive over here. After that, let me create a features section, features grid over here. And if I inspect and see, it is completely responsive. And in the future, we would like to add a preview button over here, like whenever a snippet comes, like let me say, let's go for FAQ section, and over here, if the user clicks somewhere like this, there should be a preview over here, so he could just go through it and enter if he wants that button. Thank you. Hope you like our extension.